getting consumed with social post conversations that are creating conflict? That is probably not your intention, but sometimes when we come upon a post, it's like kryptonite. We passionately take to the keyboard and pound out our opposing or supporting thoughts that escalate the issue. Immediately after, do you feel better? My guess, not so much. So how can you add to a conversation when you are passionate about the post without poisoning a relationship? Hello, I'm Suzanne F. Stevens, Conscious Contribution Cultivator for the YouMeWe Group. Welcome to weWednesdays, a short weekly video infusion of how to lead tomorrow's legacy today by consciously contributing to your community, country, or beyond. Are your social posts creating conversation or conflict? July 27, 2016, during the run-up to the United States election, there was a lot of criticism and verbal spewing posted on social feeds. In Canada, we were not immune to the spray. I received a request from a Facebook friend who asked me to connect my network and start a Canadian movement against one of the candidates. I'll leave it to you to guess which one. That day, I made a very conscious decision, only to add my voice to expand on positive dialogue or move toward a constructive resolution. In other words, I wouldn't start a movement against something, but instead I would support change toward the opposing view. By focusing on the opposing spectrum, our voices consciously contribute to the conversation, inspiring positive behavior rather than going down a rabbit hole of negativity. This philosophy is why the YouMeWe movement promotes kindness, care, and inclusivity. Any movement with anti, against, or non is sure to focus on the behavior you don't want rather than the behaviors you do want. For example, if you're passionate about the threats of inequality, focus on causes that promote equality or equity. It is two sides of the same coin. One feeds and the other depletes. One focuses on the problem, another focuses on the solution to that problem. How to consciously contribute to the conversation. Neuroscience suggests that whatever we focus on gets amplified. Writing a negative response will perpetuate the undesired communication and possibly lead to tension. Not being lured into negative banter on Facebook or other social mediums is not always easy. It's like being taunted by Lex Luthor. Superman fans, you'll get that. You may not be able to avoid him. So you engage, but he will come back again and again and again until you end the fight. Piling on the negative dialogue will affect your emotional well-being and possibly people's perception of you. I know during the United States election, I learned a lot about my friends and realized some weren't the friendlies I wanted to foster. So consider what message you want to perpetuate. Is it one that embeds in the minds the very action you're trying to avoid? Social post strategies to nurture conversation. Here are some. Let's start with ask a thought-provoking question that can lead to a positive outcome. Celebrate an achievement in the post. Support the person. Let them know you're there for them. Words of encouragement always work. Share a link to information on the opposing view. Promote a possible solution to the problem with resources to another link. Add how you dealt with an experience positively. And I love these 4 questions. These are the 4 questions that every Rotarian internationally knows because they call it the 4-way test, and they're relevant to our social post. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better relationships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Ask those 4 questions before you post, and I'm sure you're going to avoid any conflict or tension. Avoiding negative interactions on social posts is not always easy, as passion can be a tough motivator to tame. There are times when someone posts a rant that you can't help but pile on, or is that just me? After avoiding all the conversations on social media about the United States election, in all the international national politics. The topic that moved me to destructive conversation was about, wait for it, about dog waste. It's true. A friend posted about dog owners not stooping and scooping. They went on to say how the bacteria and germs affecting the ecosystem, including all other pets and humans and waterways and wildlife. You can learn more. I have a link about it. Here's the thing. Although my blood was boiling, it was the comment about putting the waste in a bag, then dropping the bag on the ground or throwing it into a tree that got me steaming. I see this all the time in parks or along pathways. A force took me over. My passion exploded. I hit the keyboard to share a short rant, followed by a heavy breath out. If you're wondering, no, I didn't feel any better after pounding the keyboard. A more proactive approach would have been to add a link to substantial information and to prove my friend's claims and further educate the reader, which is why I added a link to this post. What conversations will bring you to conflict? Well, it appears what motivated me away from social media conflict and what caused me to pile back on was the same thing: people throwing. As mere mortals, something or someone will anger us. If, however, we can resist and promote productive, positive, conscious conversations, perhaps we'll avoid confrontation and implement solutions that have a positive impact on our communities. Conflict avoided and conscious contributions to the conversation will save the day. These principles would also hold true to face-to-face conversations. However, it may be a little hard to attach a link. However, providing evidence is always compelling. Cautionary note, don't use Google says. Now, no doubt this perspective will cause an opposing view. I do believe in having opposing views, so I want to be clear. But for them to be constructive, someone needs to be open to hear it. On social media, we often don't know how open people really are to your perspective. Until next time, make your contributions count.